Welcome back to the Turing Web UI. To log in, go to ai-video.turingvideo.com and you will need to sign in with your credentials. In this video, we're going to cover the People menu in the Turing Vision platform. Upon logging in, let's come down the left-hand side to the People section and let's select People. Let's first discuss the four options that are in here from categories. That's going to be unnamed, named, flagged, and then contacts. Let's first discuss unnamed. Unnamed is going to be any face that the AI recognizes as a face. Now, this is not going to recognize it as a particular face. This is just going to say that it matches the outline and look, and that's a yes, that is a face. And it's going to put all of those into this library, all of them in the unnamed. In other places we've looked at, we've seen faces and all faces. Again, kind of the same menu, it's bringing all the faces in that it sees. Now this face may be from 60 feet away. If you've got a large area you're doing an intrusion zone in, and you've got people detection enabled, if a person walks into that zone, it recognizes it's a person, then the AI is able to capture and say that is a face. It's going to put it into this library. Just keep in mind that just because it sees a face doesn't mean that we're going to be able to use that face for an accurate face recognition against a library. I'll explain more as I go along. Let's first look at how we can filter. If we go by site, we can look for all the unnamed, and it'll only show the unnamed for that site. Or I can change it to a different one as well, and then now it shows only all the faces for that site. Now, when I talked about it may have a face, but it may be blurry, because again, it could have been, it was way too far away to be actually used for a face recognition application comparing against the library. You'll notice some of these faces look much more clear, and those are the ones we would utilize to go against a face library. Now, it is going to try to go ahead and compare those against other faces. You're not going to get the achieved rate of accurate captures you're looking for, so keep that in mind. I have found a good rule of thumb is if you look at the picture and you said, if I know that person, I could recognize them myself, then most likely the AI is going to do very well with that. Let's take an example. This picture here, I could not identify that person if I knew them. So the AI probably will not be able to either. So it's going to compare it to all kinds of faces that are not going to give us the accurate match we're looking for. The next example would be this one here. I could probably identify that person if I knew who they were. That's getting us more in the right direction of being able to do a face recognition with an accurate result. Now, this screen is not really about searching for that person or that face. This screen is going to be more about adding this unnamed to a named library. That doesn't mean you cannot search from here. If I find a result that's going to give me a high accurate match and I want to go search for that, any picture you hover into, if you click the right arrow, just like in search in the previous videos, it's going to give us the results of all those captures it had from that face. And if you look in the top left, you actually know it just put us back over into the search function and not back in the people where we were. So let's go back into people again. And let's understand that this is used to add somebody. I want to take an unnamed and I want to add them to a named. So the named is going to be our known face library. And that's going to be a library that has all of the best captures we have of that face to give us the highest accuracy of face recognition. So let's go find someone we want to add. So let's use this face here. I want to add this from an unnamed to a named person by using this photo. Once I hover over the person's picture, in the bottom left, I hit a plus icon. When that plus icon is entered, I'm going to enter the name and information about this particular person. And let's just call them Mr. Person. Employee ID, this could be a further information you want to have for yourself. So we can enter them an employee ID, and then now we should name a site that this person is going to be associated with. Now, this doesn't mean this person couldn't be on other sites, or couldn't be found at other sites, but typically we're associating this person with one particular site, and in this case, it is the metalled company. So I've selected that, and now I'm simply going to click Save. Now that that person has been added, let's now move over to the named category. And now we see our Mr. Person is here in the named category, along with some others I have added previously. From the named menu, similar to the unnamed, you see I could search by names, So again, I could just type in Mr. or Mr. Person and that would appear. I can go by site. So I can go look at different people and what sites they're on or what sites they're associated with. And in the top right, you see an add person and a merge. So adding person is pretty similar. We're just going to enter all the name in, except this time we need to add or edit an image. And when I do that, this is when I'm going to need to upload a photo I already have of this person into the software. Once the photo is uploaded, you complete it like you just did earlier when you took an unnamed person and named them and save them as a new person. Let's look at merge. So under merge, when we have a merge, we can actually come in here and we can associate two photos with the same person. Now currently there's none in here, and this is probably not the better place to do that from. And I want to point out when you're in here, be careful not to use merge inside of named people, as these should all be your good photos. Where should we use merge? Let's go look. So let's go back under unnamed. In here, I want to merge. I'm going to go to the same site we were on earlier, the Mettled Company. And then I'm going to select the merge icon in the top right. I'm going to go look for other good pictures of the same person I just added. Here's one in the bottom right down here. That's a good picture of that person. Here is another image we can merge together. And let's just go ahead and merge these. So now I've got those selected. I'm going to go up and hit the plus sign next to the trash can. It's going to ask me to enter in a new person, existing person, or I could add as a new person here. If I had 3 or 4 good pictures that I wanted to put all together as one person, I could add new, but in this case we already have one selected, and that was going to be Mr. Person. And then I'm going to click Save. Now let's go back over in our named section. Let's go back over to Mr. Person, and let's here look at add or edit facial images. So here it's showing us the full version of these images versus what we saw earlier in the cropped images. And to see that in the full version, if you simply click on the picture, you'll notice here's the better image of the face. Then we can verify, yep, that's the one I wanted to add. And then once we've verified those, I like to go in and save again to make sure that they are correct on the ones we wanted. And let's talk a little bit more about merging. To do this, I'm going to go back over into the unnamed section for my example. I want to point out that one good face is better than 5 bad faces. And by bad, I mean blurry. So just merging all kinds of faces that you can tell, going, that's the same person, I want to merge them together. That's putting points of data that can lead to inaccuracy. So again, only merge good faces, trying to help the algorithm become better. Do not mix in a bunch of faces that are blurry, too far away, and they're not going to help the algorithm. So now let's go over and discuss flagged. Flagged is going to give me the ability to create an alert rule or utilize an existing alert rule and create that as a flagged person. So when it has a match against that library of that person, that is going to be flagged, and it's going to come in as its own alert rule or part of another alert rule if you have configured it that way. You even notice a little thing here that says to receive an alert for flagged people, make sure you do go set up that rule to enable that. You'll also notice there's some other places in here where you'll see the word flagged, and particularly speaking of faces or vehicles. So now you know how to refer what is a flagged. It just simply ties that one particular event to something it can recognize and compare against a library. Again, like other places, we can search by the names or by the site to filter. Let's go last look at contacts. Now I've got myself in here. I'm going to select this. So when I'm using a contact, what I want to do is to have the ability, I want to have the ability to enter an email and a phone number and save that so that from now on, anytime somebody wants to share an event or an alert or an archive with me, they do not have to remember my email or my phone number. It'll automatically be in there, and they can select from a drop-down menu and select to share to that person, and they don't have to remember all their details of information. And that's why you see a contact here that doesn't have a picture, because in this one we simply could say, I'm just remembering who I'm sharing something with. Maybe it's somebody outside the organization. You're not going to have a face, or you don't want to have their face in here. You just want to remember those credentials so you can share whatever items are needed with them. And to add a new contact, if we look in the top right, simply go add new contact, choose whether or not they will have a photo to go with this, enter all the information just like you did earlier with adding a person, and then click Save. This completes the training in this section. Please continue on to the next video.